And we're live. So this is Devon. Is it Gambrell or Gambrell?
Gambrell.
Okay, Devon Gambrell. And she's delightful. I don't know her that well, so this is going to be a fun conversation. Mostly we've talked just about like short stories. Yeah, that's
Yes,
been our entire professional relationship.
yes.
So what else do you write?
I write fantasy and steampunk mostly. Of course, you read one of my short stories. Uh, but yeah, that's fantasy is near and dear to my heart.
Same. I just realized that we have had only fantasy authors on here. I mean, we've only had like 3 people on here, to be fair. But um, yeah, it's only fantasy, which I mean, I guess, it makes sense because I write fantasy. But yeah, I should get some other fucking people on here, huh? Uh,
That'd be great.
I feel like I'm trying to think of more people, and all I can think is like sci-fi. I'm like, that's so close to fantasy.
It's so very close.
Anyway, so, what is like your life like as an author? Like, how is authordom treating you?
I have to say, when I first started off, when I actually decided to publish my first story, The Witch's Crystal, it I had a full-time job. I had a son in high school and a son in middle school. And
That sounds like a
since,
lot.
yeah, yeah.
I've got
Since
cats.
cats are awesome. I love cats. We have 4 cats.
Excellent.
Um, but yeah, so since then, my mom passed away. So I had
Mm.
to quit my job because she was taking the kids to and from school, helping with homework and things like that.
Oh,
And my husband was just retiring from the Navy. So he has medical issues, 100% disabled, retired veteran. So I started doing the full time thing with the writing. And now my oldest is getting ready to turn 20. He's getting ready to graduate from trade school, and my youngest started high school. So, yeah,
all
it's
right.
it's busy.
So you kind of got forced into full-time authorship. That sounds real stressful.
Yeah.
Well, um, how's it going though? Like,
It's going. I delayed publishing my second book because it had a soft cliffhanger in it, and decided to finish writing my third book so they can go hand in hand. And my Kickstarter ended at the end of April, and it was very successful. So
yay.
I will have those 2 books coming out, and then I will get started on book 4 of my 5 book series.
Excellent. As a Kickstarterer myself, I love to hear that people are successful. Yay.
Yes.
Cool. Um, yeah, so I don't like have like questions prepared. Like we usually just kind of take it very conversationally.
Sit back
Um,
and chit chats.
yeah. Tell me about your cats.
We have a, can I call her a tortoiseshell? She's mostly orange and white, but she's has splotches everywhere. We call her Toaster because she looks like cinnamon toast.
Hmm.
And then we have an all black cat that we call Toothless because she's all black. And 2 tuxedo cats that my neighbors left behind when they left. They're all outdoor cats, but so we named one of them Jax because we live in Jacksonville, and the other one is Tux.
Cute. That's
Yeah.
funny. My tuxedo cat was also like an unexpected sort of just, oh, I guess nobody else is taking care of this. It's mine
Right.
now kind of situation. My now ex-husband was is a handyman, and he was like working in this apartment, and the apartment next door was being kind of cleaned out, and so he was like chatting with the like guy who was cleaning it out, and it turned out that the woman who lived there had died, and this guy was like, I want to say like a coworker, like he didn't even know her that well, but he was
Mhm.
just like the only one who was like, yeah, I guess I'll take care of this, which is such a sad thing. But and so they were chatting, and Kismet, my cat, came up and was like rubbing against my ex-husband's leg, and the guy was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this cat, I guess I'll take him to the shelter. And Zeb was like, oh, this cat, no, 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 we'll take this cat. So that's how I got Kismet. And then fucking when we got divorced, it was insane. So for the most part, my divorce went very smoothly, and in fact, like literally as soon as I told him that I wanted to split up, he was like, I'm gonna make this as easy for you as possible. And I was like, oh, all right. But the cat thing was just like the craziest thing. So we were living, his mother lived with us, and she had kind of like bonded with Kismet, which kind of makes sense because like his previous owner was an older woman. And so I just assumed that Kismet would be staying there, and I was going to take my dog Chalupa and one of the other cats, Mr. Panther, who I had kind of bonded with. And so, we were talking logistics, and I was like, hey, I'm going to take Mr. Panther. Is that okay? And he was like, yeah. Do you want Kismet too? And I was like, no, why would I take your mom's cat? And he was like, well, if you don't take him, I'm just going to take him to the shelter. I was like, what the fuck?
No.
So I was like, yes, I will take him. Like, and I'm not reluctantly either. Like, this is a great cat. Like, I fucking love this cat. I'm like, why would you do that? But he only likes cats that like cuddle with him. And Kismet
Oh.
doesn't cuddle with him. He's not a cuddly cat. He's like a playful cat.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently that's just not good enough. But so then I came back for the cats because, like we had this discussion while I was like moving my stuff out. And I was like, I'm going to come back for the cats. So I came back just for the cats. I rented a car for the cats because I don't have a car. And so I rented this car. I brought it up there, had my 2 carriers. You're not supposed to take pets in rental cars. I have violated a lot of rental car agreements in my time. After this, I'll tell you about the time I off-roaded in one.
Oh.
Anyway, so I was like very prepared to take both of these cats, is the point that I'm making. And I get there, and I'm loading Kismet into the carrier first because he came like right up to me. And Wendy, my former mother-in-law, comes out and goes, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm loading up Kismet. And she was like, why are you taking Kismet? I'm like, he didn't fucking tell you that I'm taking Kismet. So she like is obviously upset for legitimate reasons.
Obvious reason. Yes.
And so she kind of like storms out to like go find Zeb, and is like, she finds him, and she's like, I guess they like had it out. And Zeb comes in like all grumpy and is like, I guess Kismet's staying here. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'm gonna get Mr. Panther. So I look everywhere for Mr. Panther, and he's kind of like a shy kitty. Could not find him.
Like, oh no.
God, what the fuck? So I took my rental car back, and like, that's $40 I'm never getting back.
Oh my goodness.
Which luckily, like, it was, like, because those can run more, but so then I like didn't want to rent another car. I got like a friend to take me there to get Mr. Panther, and I was like, later I was like, hey, can you just like load him up for me? And so like we did that. And then like a month later, I get this text from Zeb that is like, are you still willing to take Kismet? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, if he's not gone by this weekend, like, I'm taking him to the shelter. And I'm like, okay, first off, what the fuck is with you and taking Kismet to the shelter? Secondly, I don't have a car. You're giving me like 2 days to like go to Albany, which is like the next town over, but still it's another town, And I'm like, anyway, long story short, he dropped Kismet off like the next day. But yeah, so that was that was a thing. But Kismet's very happy with me, and I'm very happy with him, so it's good.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
very
and
good.
also like he and Mr. Panther get along, which is nice because Mr. Panther, like, he was a pandemic kitty, and so like he's super kind of skittish around people. So it's really nice that he has a kitty friend, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the story about my kitties. Now the off-roading. So I have this friend Sarah, and we're like, actually I have like a zillion friends named Sarah, but this particular Sarah is my adventure buddy, and we were like college roommates, and like we've taken like a bunch of trips together, and she has like she travels for work, and so she like has all the points and stuff, so we'll usually like rent a car for our trips rather than like, you know, take hers. And so we're road tripping through Idaho. And here's the thing about Sarah is she likes to find out of the way spots that are really cool, and so I just let her do all the planning.
Mm-hmm.
And so she found these really out of the way spots that were really cool. And the websites for the places, because they were like, you know, national parks, state parks, things like that.
Yeah.
And so the websites for these places had directions to get there. And she looked at the directions on both counts. There were two instances of this, and went, well, that takes us way out of our way. And so she Google mapped it. And Google Maps found routes that didn't take us way out of our way. But Google Maps doesn't care what the roads are like.
No.
Or if they are, in fact, even open. And so we are going up this fucking mountain. And so first we're like on this like paved road going through the forest, and we're like, oh, this is nice. And then we get to the end of it, and she's like, wait, I think we were supposed to turn back there. And I was like, I didn't see a road back there. And she was like, well, let's just turn around and go see. So we turn around and we go see, and there's like this little logging road, and we're like, okay. So we go up the logging road, and we're going up, and we're going up, and we're going up, and there's like a sheer cliff on one side going down and a sheer cliff on the other side going up. And so we're just like driving, and we're like, this is so pretty, we're gonna go see some really big cedar trees. And then there's a roadblock, and we're like, oh, so we can't go this way. There's a sheer cliff on one side going down, and a sheer cliff on the other side going up. So Sarah's like, I'll drive. I used to drive box trucks in Indiana in like 2003. This at least has a backup camera. So we switched spots, and she backed us down that mountain for 20 minutes before we finally found a spot to turn around.
No.
So, later that same trip, and so in this case, we ended up just going around the mountain and going to the regular directions.
Right.
Later
Which is what
trip,
was there for.
yes. Yes, this is why they give us directions. So, a couple days later, we're going to see, oddly enough, another giant cedar grove. There were a couple of these, and they were really nice, and there were like 3,000-year-old trees. Like, this was beautiful. It was well worth the adventure. But so we're driving again on logging roads, and they're like not that bad, you know, like there's a spectrum of logging roads, and these are just kind of gravel, and we're like, okay, we're just driving, it's pretty. And we stop on this like really gorgeous like vista kind of area, like out in the middle of nowhere, and we're just like, we get out our little camping chairs, and we're eating our lunch, and we're sitting there, and this like SUV pulls up, and we're just like, oh, we're gonna get murdered. And like that's our immediate thought. And then the door opens, and this like golden retriever bounds out, and we're like, okay, we're probably fine. Like that's just like somehow if they have a golden retriever, they're not gonna murder us. So
watch your true crime.
So we're sitting there like waiting for the humans, and it turns out it's this very nice older couple, and they're there to like pick huckleberries, and they like, you know, they get out their like ATVs, and they're like going down like this little trail off to the side, and so like we're chatting with them, and we're like, yeah, we're going to, I don't remember what the grove is called, and they're like, oh, I've never heard of that, and we're like, yeah, well, Google Maps says it's just like a little bit like up this way, and they kind of like turn and look up that way, and we're like, do the roads stay okay up that way? And they're like, we've never been up that way, and like they were kind of cagey about it, and we're just kind of like, what? Okay.
Why?
And then they like go on their like Huckleberry thing, and we like pick up our stuff and put our chairs away, and we get in the car, and as soon as we start driving that way, we're like, oh, this is why nobody goes this way. There's just like ruts in the road this deep, and like I had to keep getting out and like moving rocks to the side. Like, oh fuck. There were 2 times on that trip where we thought we were gonna get stuck. We didn't. We did not get stuck. We made it to the Cedar Grove. It was beautiful. And then on the way out, we took the directions that the website had given us, which, to be fair, was always our plan, because like that did take us in the right direction. But even if it hadn't been, like, and of course when we take those, it's just completely paved and it's all fine, and like
Yeah.
So those are 2 of the 3 times I off-roaded. That's right. There was also oddly enough also in Idaho, but it was a different trip. We found these like craters in the middle of a field. It's a national natural landmark, which we didn't know was a thing, but it is. And there's some really cool stuff if you like Google national natural landmarks, which is really hard to say. But this one was these like really surreal, like 2 craters right next to each other, and they were like huge craters. Like we weren't expecting that. And they were just like right next to each other in the middle of a field. And there was like a 2 rut lane like road that takes you there. That's not really a road. It's more of like a wagon trail. And, we did it, and it was not as big of an adventure as the other 2, because there were not mountains involved, but but it was fun. So those are my off-roading adventures. And luckily, even if the rental car company sees this and is like, she violated her rental car agreement, Anna's not my real name, so they won't know it's me. And also, oh yeah, it was under Sarah's name, and as discussed, Sarah is a very common name, so
Right. It's very common.
yes. So they can't just be like, all right, let's find a Sarah who has a friend who writes books under the name Anna, because it's not going to work.
Right.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know about those cliffs. I was stationed in Colorado when I was in the Navy.
Sure.
And my husband's from Colorado, and we were both stationed in Washington State. So we did the whole drive through from Washington into Idaho, Montana, and then down on our way to Mississippi.
It's a beautiful trip.
It is gorgeous. Scary at times, but yes, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, I've driven through that area a few times. Oddly, or I mean, obviously, the first time it was actually because we had this like calendar of like wine holidays. So like, National Moscato Day and things like that. And we were like kind of working our way through it. And we were like, okay, this day is National Moscato Day. So we would like get a Moscato, and then like we would get the same one, because we don't live in the same place. So we would get the same one, and then like video as we like tasted it. It was super fun. Anyways, there were also like some kinds of like wine months, like Oregon Wine Month. And then there was Idaho Wine Month, and we're like, Idaho has wine? Idaho has enough wine to have a month about it. So we planned this whole trip around Idaho Wine Month, but then she had the opportunity, she had like got offered a gig doing the lights for a Disney cruise ship that was being built in the Netherlands, and she was like, oh, I'm gonna take that. And so we ended up going 2 months later, but we still went to a bunch of wineries because we were like, well, it's Idaho wine. So
Right.
that trip on her part of the Disney cruise ship to Idaho situation got real dicey. They ended up like being stranded on like Disney's private island, and Disney was like, you can't leave until this is done.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, it was a thing. Like she has like, in all seriousness, some like legit trauma from this. Um but we went to Idaho. That's a thing.
Oh, scary.
So the moral of that story is maybe don't work for Disney. Um because they're not just all like happy birdies singing, and they're
It's not like the movies.
they're kind of a cutthroat corporation, turns out, as I'm sure everybody actually knows. But
Right.
so, did you have any like crazy adventures on your trip from Washington to? Did you say Mississippi or Alabama?
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Um, Not really. We had 3 dogs and 2 kids,
Seems like you
and
would have adventures.
they were little, so we took 2 vehicles. It was a duty station transfer.
Mm-hmm.
So we were in Mississippi for 1 year, and then hopped over to San Diego.
Oh, I bet
And
that was
then,
much nicer than Mississippi.
I we have family in Texas. I don't like driving through Texas. It's too big.
Yeah, that's
It is
fair.
not. It is not fun. Not
Yeah,
fun at all.
it's kind of like spread out too. I feel like that's the issue. Like it's not, because like California is big, but like driving through California is not an issue. Like it's lovely, but like yeah, everything in Texas is spread out, and it's not like it's not anything,
Right,
like
right.
driving through California, you've got redwood forests and coastline, and like
Yes, and
um,
it's all prairie through
yeah.
Texas until you hit the cities, and then trying to navigate the highways is
Mhm.
no,
Yeah,
it is not fun.
yeah. Well, what can you do?
Yep. But yep, no outlandish adventures. Oh, there was I think we were on our way from I think we were coming from San Diego to come to Florida for our next duty station. And I passed a semi truck. And me and my husband, we had these walkie talkies. And he eased out. He said, okay, yeah, you can go around. I went around. No sooner did I get in front of the semi truck than the tire came off and hit the windshield of my husband's truck behind me.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That sounds really terrifying.
yes.
I always see those like little bits of tires on the side of the road, and I'm just like, what? What? Why? How? What? No.
Yes.
It's one of like many reasons that I don't like driving on freeways. I just like I don't really like driving to begin with, but then like on freeways, it's just like I don't know, like people are going very, very fast, and cars are not held up by much. And
Right.
then you see the little bit that they're held up by, like just lying on the side of the road, and you're just like, but that's all that's between me and this like cement that's happening like 70 miles per hour below me.
Yeah.
No, no.
I don't like bridges either. I don't like driving over bridges.
Oh, I'm
And
fine with bridges. Yeah, no. I realize that that's
unfortunately,
more common to not be okay with bridges.
right. But and unfortunately for Jacksonville, it is called the River City because there are rivers everywhere.
Mm,
And therefore there are bridges everywhere.
sure,
I
yeah.
prefer to just stay home. I like being home.
Yeah,
I have a purple wall. It's great.
you do. Purple's my favorite color. You can see our names are against purple.
Yes. Yes.
That's my color. It's good
I love
stuff.
it. It's a good color. But yeah, there weren't too many military driving adventures.
Well,
It
that's
was
good.
just trying to get to the next destination, hopefully see family and friends along the way, not have to pay for hotels.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah, I did like a big trip like last year and into this year, where I was just basically like nomadic essentially for 6 months. And I tried really hard to just like go places where I had friends, and like every once in a while I took like got an Airbnb, and then like, oh, the last place I went, and I really want to do this more going forward too, is there was this like website where you can sign up. So like if you're traveling, or if you have like if you traveling and need a place to stay, or if you're leaving your home for a while, also traveling, and you have like pets and stuff, and you need somebody to stay at your house. So like you can get matched there, and so then like the people whose house it is don't have to pay for a pet sitter, and the people who
Yes.
are traveling don't have to pay for a hotel. So I did that in Albuquerque, and it was really cool. Like the house was really nice, but also just like there are puppies here, and like I'm not paying out the ass for an Airbnb or a hotel. And they even like, it was cool because they were like outside of Albuquerque, but they like let us use their car, which was cool.
Okay.
Like I wasn't necessarily expecting that, but it's a good thing they did, because if they hadn't, like we wouldn't have been able to go anywhere. Like I was traveling with my friend Haley, and like she wanted to like go, do yoga and stuff like while I was writing, and like, she wouldn't have been able to do that. And then like we wouldn't have been able to go, like we went hiking and we went to like a winery, and like, we wouldn't have been able to like explore the area, which
Yeah.
like it's kind of silly to travel and then just like stay put.
Hmm.
But so yeah, I really liked that. I have a friend actually who is another author. Oh, she's not fantasy or sci-fi. I should get her on
She
here.
is it? Ah.
But she actually is going through a divorce right now, and she's using that same website. It's called Trusted House Sitters, to like travel around while she's
Hmm.
like figuring out her next move. So yeah,
Yeah, I would love to get an RV since my husband has a truck.
my like dream is to live in an Airstream.
Ah,
They're
yes.
so cool. Have you ever been in one?
Yes. I actually worked for an RV dealership for
Oh,
4 years, 3, 4 years.
so you
So,
know.
yes, yeah, we didn't have any Airstreams, but I was able, helped out with not the fairs, the conventions, RV conventions where you can walk in all of the different RVs, all of the dealerships brought them to one place. So, yes,
Yeah, I stayed
very
in
nice.
one that was
Very
like an Airbnb during the pandemic, and I was like I went there specifically because like I was stuck in a house with like a ton of people, and I couldn't write, and I like needed to finish my third book, and so I like went. I was like, I'm gonna get an Airbnb. So like, if I got this Airstream, it was the middle wine country, and so I just
Mhm.
like sat there and like looked out on the rolling hills, and I was just like, this is amazing. And I finished my book, so
Yes.
it worked. Yeah, it was good stuff. So yeah, my like dream is to just like have an Airstream that I can like, because too, like if you live in like that kind of thing, right? You've got all of your stuff in it, and then you want to go traveling, you can
Sorry.
just
Oh, sorry about that.
so like my thought is that I can just like put it into RV storage like while I'm traveling, and like not have to worry about like when I did my trip this time, like I put all of my stuff in storage, and it's just
Mhm.
like a little storage unit, and I had to like get it all out, you know, when I like got a new place, and also like I had to get a new place, you know. And it's like if I had like the Airstream, I could go like travel for like months and like not even worry about it. And I think the funny thing about that plan is that like technically an Airstream is for travel, but I don't want to like drive a car and like with this giant trailer like behind me, you know, backing down mountains and stuff.
Yeah,
So
it threw me for a loop because you remember the whole tiny home trend that was going on? And I'm
oh
like,
yeah.
let's get an RV. It's a tiny home.
Yeah. And I mean,
You
I
take it with
do
you.
I have also stayed in tiny homes and it
Yes,
is like a different vibe and they are quite delightful. But I want the Airstream.
yes.
So they're just like perfectly engineered. Like everything is in its place and it's just like beautiful. It's magical. That's that's what I want. But they're so expensive. Like
Very expensive.
they're like you like people pay as much for an Airstream as like their house, like for a new one.
Hmm.
I obviously wouldn't be buying a new one anyway, but like even a used one, like it's a spendy deal.
Yeah, Airstream is it's its own entity. It's
Yeah.
yeah. Think of it like the brand name. There you go.
Yeah. Essentially. But like I feel like it's kind of worth it because like it's they've actually earned that, you know.
Yes,
It's
they
not like these
last
brands that just like
forever.
coast along on like, oh, but everybody loves Apple. I hate Apple. So I don't understand the people with the,
Right.
like brand loyalty to Apple, but sorry. So we are at the half hour mark. And also,
That
I
went so
borrowed my
fast.
boyfriend's car and I have to go give it back to him. So, so I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye. But do you want to plug your books really fast?
Yes. Here is my first book, The Witch's Crystal.
Pretty.
And it's on all retailers. And I also have my own personal shop, um, by direct.
And I've got her website on the in the description of this video, so you can find it easily.
Yep. And the next two books, The Witch's Mirror and The Witch's Sword, will be available for retailers probably February. I want to make sure I fulfill all of my Kickstarter first before I release it.
Yes,
But
that is
yes,
why I have pushed back the release of my next book 3 times. But it's coming out in August, god damn it. Anyway, I digress. All right, well, thank you so much, Devon. It has been truly a delight chatting with you.
thank
And
you for having me.
yeah, I will go ahead and hit end stream, but it always takes a second. So